Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is December 23rd, 2019. Hey, listen, folks, I just wanted to jump on here and do a quick live stream because I've had a few people literally driving me insane over this latest video that came out, I think, maybe about 10 days ago, maybe not even that. And the title is Blue Planet Appears Near the Moon in Australia and Seen with the Naked Eye. Yeah. Give me a second, folks. I'm going to pull up the live chat so I can see all you. Turn the ringer down on my phone so nobody bothers me. And we'll jump right into this because I've had people just inboxing me, emailing me, and posting this video in the Planet X News group. And look, you know, people ask me for my opinion on things all the time, on pictures, on videos, and things of that nature. And I give them my opinion, and 99.9% of the time, they get pissed off. Because look, the bottom line is, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you just to please you. If your picture is fake or I know what it is, you know, I'm not going to tell you, oh, yes, that's a planet in the sky. Oh, you did such a great job in capturing that. You know, I'm not trying to be a jerk off here, but I mean, if you ask me a legitimate question like that, I'm going to give you a truthful answer. And all too many times, you know, people just get really mad at me, and I don't know what that's all about. So if, again, like I've said this before, folks, if you don't want my opinion on something, video, picture, don't ask me. But this video, let me give you a little backstory. I think it was in January of 2007. There was a guy in Minnesota who just stepped out into his driveway, and it was a full moon, and he was using an Apple cell phone. Let me go ahead and bring this picture up real quick. So this is the photograph. Let me make sure you guys can all see that. I'm using a couple of new programs, and I just want to make sure you guys are able to see them. Let me make sure real quick. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I just purchased some brand new high definition video software and a picture program. But anyways, you know, getting back to this guy from Minnesota. So, you know, he walks out into his driveway, and it was a crystal clear night, and it was a full moon. He took out his Apple cell phone and he started to videotape the moon. Naturally, you're going to get overexposure when you're doing that because of the massive amount of light that's coming into the camera. The Apple cell phones since 2017 and 2018 and 2019, all three of these models, when the aperture is overloaded, when the camera and the processor is overloaded with light, whether you're taking photographs of the sun, a headlight on a car, or the full moon, you are always going to get what is referred to as a ghosted image. It is the moon. What you're looking at on your screen right now, that blue dot, if it was a little more clearer, it would have the same surface as the moon. Why? Because it is a duplicate picture inside of the camera on the cell phone. That's all that it is. And yes, you can turn it upside down, you can flip it all around, and you can do whatever you want. As long as you have stayed focused on the light source, which is the moon, that blue planet which is a reflection of the moon, is going to stay right there. Now, in the video, which I'm not even going to show you because it is complete garbage, and it's making its way all around YouTube, all around Facebook, and it's got a lot of people freaked out. Over 90,000 people viewed it. I mean, I wish we could get those kinds of views again here on Planet X News, but definitely ain't going to happen with all the censorship going around social media. But just to be clear, folks, if you've seen this video, that's all that it is. Nobody stepped out and saw this blue planet near the moon with their naked eye. I would put my life on it. Number one, let's just say hypothetically that there was another planet right near the moon. What do you think would happen here on Earth? What would be the number one first thing that would happen to our oceans and our tides? Now, if any of you are not science buffs and you don't know the answer to that question, let me give it to you. Our tides are influenced by the moon. So, if we had another object pretty close to the size of the moon, what do you think would happen to the tides here on planet Earth? Oh, that's right. We would probably have tidal waves that would be, they could probably be anywhere from 50 to 100 feet high. Maybe they could even be as high as 200 or 300 feet. I guess we'll never know that because there isn't a blue planet by the moon. That's just the bottom line. If you guys want to look this ridiculous video up, this is a screenshot from the video. That's the name of the title. A blue planet appears near the moon in Australia, seen with the naked eye. Well, first things first, nobody can prove that that was seen with the naked eye. And, you know, let's just check this out. If there was a bright aqua blue planet near the moon on a full moon night 2 weeks ago, well, don't you think just about everybody in the world would have seen it? Yeah. So anyways, like I said, I had a few people just bugging me, just driving me crazy for the last week. I'll zoom in on this a little bit. I'm just getting used to this new program here, so bear with me. Hey, dog, get out of here. My dog's driving me crazy this morning. So anyways, this is what we're looking at, folks. So this is the natural moon, full moon, and this is actually the moon. No. It's not the blue Kachina. Let's not even go there. It is nothing more but a reflection internally on an Apple cell phone. I could guarantee you that that is the exact cell phone that this guy used. Now, whenever you're using an Android phone, you will get the same identical effect. However, the blue planet referred to in this video and in this picture will no longer be blue. It will be red. Different operating systems. Android, red. Apple, blue. So folks, whenever you see these photographs and people try to pull this over on you, you got to step up to the plate and you got to call these people out. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like people make me do it, you know, and then I get all the flack for it. Let me show you real quick the thumbnail that this person used on their video. And this, I took this directly from my Facebook page, and this is the thumbnail that the person used. And they simply took a photograph that they probably got from the internet of a full moon, and then they got a photograph of Neptune and just did a simple overlay to make it look like their video. So, again, folks, if you're new to, trying to investigate and research things that have to do with Planet X and what's going on in our inner solar system, you're going to have to learn how to see through the fakery, because there is so much of it on social media and the internet. There is more fake garbage than there is real evidence. And like I've said before, so far, in all of these years, I've never seen anybody produce real, legitimate Planet X observational evidence except for myself. I do the work, I do the research, I do the homework, and I invest a lot of time and a lot of hours into it. Now, let's get past this fake crap and let's take a look at where we are at in the month. Okay, today is the 23rd. We know this object is orbiting the sun in a 28-day orbit. Our last sighting was right at the end of November going into December. Right on time. So now we did have another sighting right on time in the, I think it was on the, usually it's between the 12th and 15th of the beginning of the month. So we're at the end of the month, and we're going to be expecting to see this object again as it's making its way down past the ecliptic. It will produce a CME, or an explosion coming from the sun. And we have seen this over and over and over and over again. Now, this is going on 3 straight years. So twice a month, we get a good view, well, a decent view, considering the tools that we have to use, and they're slowly taking all of those away. So today is the 23rd, and I would say probably pretty close to the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, somewhere within that 4 to 5 day period, we will see a CME on the sun, possibly even 2. We will see a lot of things happening on the magnetosphere with the Earth's magnetic field. And then very soon after all of that occurs, right at the end of the month, we will see a substantial increase in earthquake activity. We might even see a magnitude 6 and above. Just before I started this live stream, I was listening to Fox News. They were doing a report on some more findings that the USGS has come out with pertaining to all of those earthquakes that were occurring in the middle of the summer out there in Ridgecrest, California. So they were basically saying that the Gerlach fault, I guess it is slipping. I couldn't listen to the full report, but I'm going to go back and check it out. You guys may want to just jump on their website, Fox News. It's probably somewhere on their homepage for the next couple of hours, but I'm going to look it up and probably write a detailed article about it. But we are definitely going to see issues with our magnetosphere right at the end of the month. Now, I'm not talking the usual stuff that we're seeing now. We're going to see some really, really strong contortions and impacts And you know, folks, this isn't being caused by the solar wind. Over the last 14 days, the sun's been relatively quiet. And if you notice, and if you go back and you take a look at some data, you see that this is what's occurring month after month after month after month. Within the first 10 days of every month, we see the uptick in the seismic activity. We see the impacts and the contortions in our magnetosphere. Then we have a CME on the sun. We get our sighting of this object. And then about a few days after that, we have some strong earthquake patterns that normally occur for about 3 to 5 days. And, you know, we seem to be having, you know, one big or two big earthquakes. Then, at the end of the month, it plays itself over again as it's passing downward in that very sharp angle, past the ecliptic, and heading downward where we are not going to see it. Now, it normally takes about 10 days for it to start to make its orbit right back up and pass through the ecliptic, going back up. Folks, I'm not making this up. This is based on all of the observational evidence that I've acquired over all of these years. I put it through the test, and I asked Mark over at, which was once the Blue Kool-Aid channel, Wages World now. And I said to Mark, Mark, look, man, you know, don't believe me. Go back as far back as you can in all of the data, and you figure it out for yourself, and you let me know if you think that I'm right. And, you know, about a week went by, and, you know, we had a conversation, and he did a video about it, and he went back, and yes, twice a month we get this data. So basically, as this object came in over a course of who knows how long, the sun's gravity eventually pulled it in closer, and now it is well within the orbit of Mercury. Now, Mercury is 48 million miles away from the sun. That's why it doesn't burn up. A lot of times when we see pictures of Mercury next to the sun, they're very, very zoomed in. So it looks like Mercury is right up against the sun, but in fact it's 48 million miles away. This object, this Planet X object, it does get very, very close to the sun. I would say it gets close to the sun twice a month. As it comes up, it gets very, very close to the equatorial region of the sun, the equator, the halfway point. That is normally where we see these coronal mass ejections on its entrance and on its exodus every 28 days. It's just not my opinion. These are facts. All of the data, all of the evidence, it all backs it up. So, getting back to the blue planet next to the moon, if we had a planet up there next to the moon, our tides would definitely be affected. There is no doubt about that. We would have coastal flooding like you've never seen before during high tide. And then during low tide, wow, we would have a massive recession of water, never before seen by modern man. And if you happen to go pass by and you do watch this video, it does look intriguing at first. But if you just know a little bit about Earth, space, science, you'll clearly see that the video is completely fake. Just like the guy's video in 2017, completely fake. I mean, the guy, he even emailed me his original video footage, and it caught me by surprise. And soon after that, you know, is when I started to learn about the issues with the Apple cell phones and also the Android cell phones. Now, a lot of you have seen these videos on YouTube that claim that there is a red planet by the moon. Again, that's because of the processor that Android cell phones use. It will produce that red circular anomaly. And the Apples, they produce the blue. But this thumbnail, completely fake. Picture of the moon. Picture of Venus. Just overlaid and used as the thumbnail to coerce people to watch the video. I'm going to jump out of here. Let me see if I could figure out how to do that. I'm not used to this new program. So we know that that's what that is. I mean, I could try to zoom into it, but it's a little blurry. Yeah. Yeah, it's round, it's circular, and it's blue, but it's definitely not a planet. So, let's jump out of here. And I made a little Facebook video. Where the hell is it? Right here. We're going to go ahead and pull this up. I want to show you guys a few things. I'm going to just stop this real quick. Now, on December 5th, we caught this object. And I showed everybody this video. This was captured on the SDO. And you can clearly see this object coming through the sun's corona, disturbing the corona, even pulling plasma from the sun and creating a tail as the object trailed past the sun. People are constantly asking me, how close does this object get to the sun? You know, folks, I can only speculate. It seems that maybe at its closest, a couple 100,000 miles. It's very, very hard to judge, you know, without that perfect depth perception. But it definitely gets close enough where it does cause these interactions on the sun. I believe that as soon as we start to move out of this solar minimum, naturally we are going to see a much, much more active sun. That is quite a bit of time away before this solar minimum is over. We're just getting into it. But in the meantime, while we're going through this solar minimum, the Earth's magnetic field is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So don't be surprised with real crazy weather anomalies, increases in earthquake and volcanic activity. You know, we're right here at the end of December. I live in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. And today it's going to be 52 degrees. It's going to be in the low 50s, I think, all the way through till the end of the week. And then there's other parts of the United States that are just plain damn freezing cold. And my allergies are acting up like crazy. My allergies think that it's freaking springtime out. My grass is growing. I was out there yesterday poking around, and there's a few dandelions popping up in December in my neck of the woods. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about that blue planet next to the moon? Do you guys think that that's real? Trust me, it was not real. It's just basically some clickbait to get some views, you know. A lot of YouTube channels are doing it now. People are taking photographs, every day of the sky, which I would definitely advise. Hey, you never know. You may catch a UFO. You may catch something crazy looking. You're definitely not going to see a planet other than the moon. You may see some distant planets that are like little tiny, tiny dots, Venus or Jupiter or Saturn or some alignments, but, Mars. But you're not going to see anything up there that's going to be super identifiable. It's just not going to happen, folks. Before you would even be able to snap that picture and post it on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, the Earth would start to shake, rattle, and roll, and we would be, in some serious, serious shape. If you don't believe me, go and read about, some planetary dynamics and the dynamics of stars when they get very, very close to each other. As they say, shit happens. And it's all bad. None of it's good. We know what this object is doing. It is now part of our solar system. Mainstream science doesn't want to admit it. They won't admit it. I think if they did come out and hold a press conference on this, this would probably shake up the world quite a bit. Possibly even shake up some religions. And then people would want to know why mainstream science and the governments and NASA were all lying to us. And then they would have to come out and say that, oh yeah, that Planet X was real. Sorry, we had to lie to you. Just the same way we've been lying to you for decades about the existence of aliens. It is what it is, folks. These are the times that we are living in. It used to be all about truth. Now, with the powers that be, it's all about lies and what they can get over on each and every one of us. It is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and play this. And this was the capture from December 5th. I put this together yesterday, and I was going to do a little live stream showing this to everybody. And I just kind of ran out of time. I've been very, very busy on the political front with my regular news website and Facebook page. It's just incredible what's going on out there in this country. Pretty damn sad if you ask me. But this is just a few different filters. You could clearly see the object. It's not a camera anomaly. And this is not the first time that I've actually captured this. In 2017, I captured this object moving through the sun's corona on the Solar Dynamics Observatory. It was pretty fascinating to watch it. This time around, I caught it again 2018, caught it in 2019, and this was the second time that I've caught it moving through the sun's corona. Somebody mentioned to me, could that be a coronal prominence? If you guys look up coronal prominences on Google, click on images, you'll see what a coronal prominence looks like. And a coronal prominence doesn't pass through the sun's corona. Okay? It moves up from the surface of the sun and forms a loop, kind of like a teardrop shape. And then sooner or later, they will get sucked back down, or they will kind of release. That's kind of rare. Normally, the electrical field or the magnetic field will just get sucked right back down to the sun. And they could last for hours. They could last for days, weeks, or months. But this object zipped right through the corona in a very, very short amount of time. And this is not the full video that I wanted to show you guys. What did I do with it? I got all my videos mixed up. That's not it either. What did I do with it? Do-do-do-do. What did I do with my video? Did I put it over here? Forgive me 1 second, folks. Well, this is the video here. You guys check this out. If you watch real close down in that lower left corner, you'll see that object pass by. Oh, my nose. Do-do-do. So that was the actual video that was captured on the SDO. I took the still shots, used some of my high definition software to bring it out a little bit, and used a couple different filters. It's pretty cool. I want to jump into, where is that video that I made yesterday? I thought this was it. Oh, I'm losing my mind. What did I do with it? I had this all put together for you guys yesterday, and I don't know what the hell I did with it. Damn it. Well, I'll just bring it up piece by piece. These were the coronagraphs from yesterday. And like I said, the sun has been relatively quiet. No massive coronal mass ejections, very, very little flaring. And this is the lull period that we see in the middle of the month, every single month. So, again, we're getting near the very end of the month, and within the next couple of days, we are going to see a coronal mass ejection, and hopefully we'll be able to get a visual on this object again. I know some people may get bored with it. I'm pretty fascinated by it. I mean, I continue to monitor everything on a daily basis. A lot of people have asked me why I don't do, daily videos. And one of the main reasons why I don't do daily videos is I think that you guys get bored, hearing about the same thing. And sometimes my time now is, little sparse. But this, you could see, very, very little activity. This was yesterday. Nothing on the coronagraphs. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to write home about. And this was the Solar Dynamics Observatory yesterday. Once again, you can see somewhat of coronal hole openings. Nothing huge, nothing major. Nothing that is producing a very rapid solar wind. However, the heavily charged particles that do spew from these openings in the sun's atmosphere are making their way towards Earth. And they are making their way through our magnetic shields. I'll show you just a little bit what they were doing yesterday. We'll take a quick look at it. This was the CME tracker. And what I wanted you guys to look at is the far right the far right of your screen, right over here where my cursor is. You see the little yellow dot right there. That is Earth. And you can see all of those green patches. Those are just small, those are like small bouts of the solar wind. And you can see they're moving towards Earth. I've really never seen this kind of pattern before. Usually they come in pretty long streams. I've never seen these blotches like that. One after the other, one after the other. And they are pretty much all glancing blows. But I don't know what to say. I've really never seen anything like that before. And this is all up to date. I just recorded all of this yesterday. So definitely some strange things occurring. We'll move over here to the predictor model. And this will take us out all the way through the 27th. What we just looked at on the CME tracker, I want you guys to take a look right here where my cursor is on this half model. Take a look at that amount of heavily charged particles that just missed our planet, just missed Earth. And you could see how as it moves towards Earth and then moves past our ecliptic and our orbital line around the sun, look how it turns white. And that means that it actually gained intensity. So that was a good thing that didn't hit us. That would have set off a massive geomagnetic storm. That would have definitely induced multiple magnitude 6 plus, 7 plus earthquakes. So we got lucky right there. We got really, really lucky. What's kind of suspicious is that big blob that you just saw strolling away from the sun like that. There was really nothing going on the sun. No coronal mass ejections. No heavy flows of solar wind. Nothing. And to be honest, I've really never seen that kind of pattern again. I've never seen that before. As much as I've watched these instruments over all of these years, I don't know. It's moving very, very slow. It's definitely a huge flow of electrons. Yeah. I've been studying this same loop. Oh my, yesterday I looked at it for probably an hour nonstop, just staring at it, trying to figure it out. And, without being, an employee at NASA or NOAA, their space weather stations, we'll never know. It was definitely odd. You'll see a spike right here. And unfortunately, that's going to be Christmas Eve going into Christmas Day. We're going to see a spike right here in the plasma density. We're also going to see a small spike in the velocity. And I'll stop that right there. And that is what is coming. But again, folks, I've studied all the data over the last 48 hours, and I mean, the sun's relatively quiet, so where's all that coming from? That's like, the $100,000 question. And it's a good damn thing that it's just going to be a glancing blow. However, bad news is that this predictor model is not always, it's not 100% accurate. So they're taking data from the Discovery and ACE satellites, and the data is translated, and then the data is translated into these visual tools and programs. And they're not always spot on. There are adjustments. There may be an adjustment to this later today or even tomorrow, and that blob that we see right here, it could move further away from us, or it could end up being a direct hit. I'll check it later on and find out. But there's definitely some kind of weird anomalies occurring. We're going to take a look at the magnetopause model, and you could see very, very light fluctuations. Nothing major, no huge compressions to our bow shock. I monitor it every single day, a couple times a day. Just some very, very light impacts, nothing major. And that was for yesterday. And the solar wind, I'll bring it up for you guys so you could take a look at it. There was not much of anything. You could see the speed over here, 300 and 500 kilometers per second, all relatively slow to normal. Nothing major, but that is all going to change over the course of the next couple of days. Simply being is that we are going to see the exodus of this object as it makes its way around the sun. And I'd probably say by the 28th, 29th, 30th, we'll start to see all of this change all over again. And it won't be good changes. It will be bad changes. But folks, we have to realize that this is the world that we live in now. Things are not the same as they were 50 years ago. The sun is not the same. Our earth is not the same. All of these decades that have gone by, things have changed. The fact of the matter is are you going to accept it and learn about it, or are you going to deny it and make fun of it? For the people that make fun of it, hey, whatever, man. That's on you. My suggestion is to try to do your best to learn about it. I mean, that's what I'm here for. Mark does a fantastic job on his Wages World channel. And there's a few others out there that do a pretty decent job of explaining what's happening. But there's no end in sight, folks. None of us are going to outlive this. We're definitely going to be going through some pretty crazy changes. To some people, it may be very shocking and confusing. I'm not going to lie. There are definitely some pretty dangerous times that we're going to be getting into over the next several years. With the combination of the solar minimum, this object in orbit around our sun that mainstream science wants to deny, it is going to become very burdensome on our Earth's magnetic field, and we depend on that magnetic field to protect us from the sun. Scientists say that at one point in time, Venus was inhabitable, probably an Earth-like planet. They say the same thing about Mars. At one time, Mars was an Earth-like planet. What happened? Something happened millions or billions of years ago. Maybe the Earth was lucky. But one thing that scientists do agree upon is that the Earth is not going to be here in the state that it is now forever. At some point in time, Earth will go through a massive change where it will not be inhabitable for human life as we know it now. I don't think that we have to worry about that just yet. I don't think any of us will live that long to see that. But it is inevitable, and it will happen. On the magnetosphere model that you see here, again, this is all data from yesterday. Everything pretty much normal to moderate. Again, this is all going to change, I would say, within the next 72 hours, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, but somewhere within that 3 to 5 day range, we're gonna see some changes. Possibly ringing in the new year, we may have an outbreak of pretty strong earthquakes across the world. We'll see, but that's usually how things have been going in this 28-day pattern for years. Before this, it was 2 years. This is the third full year that I've charted this 28-day orbit and this 28-day progress. Nobody has proved me wrong, and nobody has come up with any other idea other than, camera anomalies and people jumping up and down and swearing that, there's a second sun and there's a blue planet next to the moon, which is all complete crap. But don't believe me. You could believe whoever you want to. Yesterday was a little concerning, and this is the electron model. And if you just take a look at the dotted line, and the dotted line is the satellite belt. And that's where some of these satellites that we use for data, that's their orbit. And you could clearly see that whole entire area, we'll just call it inflamed, because that's basically what it looks like. And that inflammation, as we'll call it, is caused by this heavy influx of electrons streaming towards Earth. But are they coming from the sun? Or are they possibly coming from that object? Because the sun has had very, very, very minimal emissions over the last 7 days. Till you come to think, well, where's that coming from? I've mentioned this many, many times before. Is it because our magnetic field is weakening during this solar minimum? Is it a combination of the two? That's also a high possibility. It could be a combination of both. However, this whole past year of 2019, I've been steadily watching the electron count. And whenever we see these spikes in the electron count, they are pretty coordinated with that time in the beginning of the month and that time at the end of the month. When we see those high spikes in the electrons in both time periods, well, that's where we catch a CME, and that's where we catch some observational evidence of this object. And that's not good. The situation that you see right there, that's not good. It's not good for our satellites. I mean, they could definitely be damaged. That's something that I know the governments are very, very worried about, is damage to these satellites. And sooner or later, they're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the sun's going to pop off with a pretty nasty solar flare or a CME, and we may be saying bye-bye to the ACE satellite or the Discover satellite, or even the SDO or the LASCO SOHO. Stereo, any one of them could be destroyed by one of these blasts, and then we will be definitely SOL, shit out of luck. There's no doubt about that. So everything seems to be kind of moderate. Again, just saying it's going to be changing here within the next couple of days. This is our geoelectric grid. I recorded this yesterday, and you could see some light perturbations, on the U.S. map here. I don't have this for the whole world, just for the U.S. And this is showing the areas of the United States where the electrical grids can be affected. However, what you're seeing there in the very, very light blue is very, very moderate. Nothing to write home about. However, whenever you do see it, if you look at the colored bar at the bottom here, whenever you see it getting into the bright yellows and the reds flashing around that map, that's time to worry. And it's not good for the human body to be subjected to that. And usually we're not subjected to it for a very long, lengthy period of time, but possibly sometime in the very near future, we may be. Why do you think the governments are all going underground? Why do you think that they've amassed complete cities and railways, super trains that go all over the place and underground tunnels? It's not just the United States. It's a lot of countries. A lot of the European countries, and Russia and Germany and the UK, they all have these underground facilities deep, deep in the earth. And they know, possibly, that was all started back in the Cold War era, trying to hide from nuclear blasts. Well, we all know that there's never going to be a nuclear war because there is no winner in nuclear war. But I think in the 80s, when they truly discovered what was happening, I think at that point in time, between the late 80s and through the early 90s and up until today, they figured they better get their butts underground, full, massive facilities. And that's exactly what they've done. And they have a way to create these massive areas underground without using modern boring machines. From what I understand, they have the ability to literally melt the rock away, melt it away, and literally just bore right through it. It's faster, easier, and actually more sturdy for their underground facilities. We've all seen the videos of the Walmart trucks, pulling into the underground facilities, and they can travel from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast underground. Underground. So, I don't think all of that government stuff that deals with the underground facilities is all about war. It's definitely about something else. I had a person ask me yesterday. Oops. I'm not used to using this program. Let's just back this off. I had a person ask me yesterday why it was so warm in Wisconsin when it should be snowing and very, very cold. And once again, folks, it all has to do with the erratic jet stream. Our weather patterns are never going to be the same. As long as you have life left on this earth, the weather that you used to know, that's gone. That's never coming back. The jet stream patterns in the northern and some southern hemisphere are so erratic and so broken that they will simply get worse as time goes on. And that will bring more and more erratic weather, stronger storms, absolutely horrible winters for some people, but not all people. We're always going to have these warmer weather patterns that kind of shoot up from, as you see in the arrows, and you see the jet stream. I have one of these warm patterns over us here on the East Coast right now. Late December, low 50s. Does that make any sense to you? No, it doesn't. Wisconsin, in the low to mid 40s, end of December. Does that make any sense to anybody? Absolutely not. But again, all of that's going to change. We're only in the beginning phases of this winter. We're probably going to see a lot of these cyclonic storms that are going to be moving up directly through Mexico. They won't be snowstorms moving up through Mexico, but they will be heavy streams of moisture. They're going to collide with these huge low pressure troughs of Arctic air. And usually you see that in this U shape right here. And you'll see that low pressure trough right there. You'll see it move right over there, just like it did last year. But it's probably going to be a lot worse. Remember that huge, looked like a huge hurricane storm that just moved right up through the center part of the United States and then made its way in a diagonal pattern right up into Canada. It did a lot of damage. There was a lot of loss of life. It was just an absolutely insane thing to see, especially on the radars. On the GOES 16, it was 2/3 of the size of the United States. Incredible. Speaking of wacky, crazy weather, just a few days ago, Spain, France, Italy, wow. They got trashed with that storm that pretty much came out of nowhere. They had really, really intense flooding, landslides, real high winds. This is just absolutely abnormal weather. But again, this is something that we're going to have to adjust to as each year goes by. You want to call it climate chaos? Fine. You want to call it climate change? Call it whatever you want. Definitely doesn't have anything to do with the Al Gore global warming. Okay, folks. This was going to happen. I mentioned this a lot back in 2016 and 2018. And I warned everybody that the weather that you know is going to be gone. Everything's going to change. People called me every name in the book, called me a liar, and you're a fear monger, you're this and you're that. Well, what about now? What's your excuse now? What? Are you going to tell me that just in 24 months that man caused all of this? Don't fool yourself. This was coming. This was coming. And there's no doubt in my mind that governments around the world, climatologists that work for the government, they pretty much knew it. They knew it. We have big issues with our north and our south poles. Massive amounts of ice melt during the spring, summer, and fall in the North Pole. Well, that just totally upsets this jet stream. Totally upsets it. If you don't believe me, look up the material yourself and you will find that I'm telling you the truth. The Antarctica, in some places in Antarctica, they are having an increase in ice production and ice thickness. But in other areas, near the tip of South America, that region, well, guess what? Just recently, they've done some scanning of that area, and they think that there are numerous underground and underwater volcanoes that are heating up that whole section of Antarctica, and it's disappearing. It's cracking off. It's causing major issues. So we'll see what happens with that. That's always interesting to watch. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of here. Let me see if there's anything else I could share with you guys. Oh, I did want to show you guys something. Some of you do know, some of you don't know. But I run an organization on Facebook and a website, USA Headline News, and it is a legitimate news website, and we are also a Fox News affiliate. Took me about a year to get into that program, and this has been taking up a large portion of my time. And I'm deeply involved in politics. And we have a fantastic Facebook page. We have a fantastic website. And we have great stories that are updated, every minute of every day. I probably put, 14, 15 hours a day in, 7 days a week in everything that I do. And back on December 4th, me and Facebook, we had a little problem. And on the USA Headline News Facebook page, we have about 103,000 people that follow us. All of a sudden, nobody could see our posts. Instead of our posts reaching 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people reading an article, it was down to 50 or 60 or 70 people. That's it. So the censorship has really gone overboard on all of the social media platforms, including YouTube. YouTube's admitted it. Facebook has admitted it. The best thing I can tell you, folks, is if you have Facebook pages that you like to follow, don't wait for a notification. Go visit the page. If you have websites that you follow for news and information, don't wait for a notification. Just go to the website. Same thing with your YouTube channels. If you're not getting notifications, just go to the channel. Don't wait. I'll show you guys something that I very much dislike about what just happened on YouTube. But this was a prime example of how this censorship is playing out. I mentioned on the Planet X News Facebook page the other day that I was going to be sharing some political news articles that I investigate and write on a daily basis. And I was going to be sharing those on the Planet X News Facebook page. Well, yes, naturally, some people complained, and what are you doing that for? They failed to forget, they failed to remember that it's my Facebook page. I think I could put what I want on it. But anyways, I explained it to him. This was a little bit of an experiment, and this was the experiment. So you could see right here, this was a post from yesterday. You could see I posted this on Planet X News, and in 3 hours, let me bring us a little closer. 3 hours. 3 hours. My public figure page, 3 hours. So you could see that this was on Planet X News. This was on USA Headline News. I posted this news article from our website on all 3 of these Facebook pages at the same time. 3 hours later, you could see that this article reached 1,013 people, 69 people engaged it. Over here on Headline News is because Headline News is a kind of a more conservative news Facebook page and organization and website. Well, I guess the snowflakes over there at Facepuke just didn't like it. And you could see it only reached 68 people and 2 engagements in 3 hours with 103,000 people that follow this page. I'm constantly getting inbox messages. I probably get about 100 a day that I can't even answer from the people that follow our page around the United States that are complaining to me that they don't get notifications. They don't see anything. Nothing. But yet, I post a political article on Planet X News and it reaches 1,000 people. If we go down here and look at the my public figure page, damn it, I'm so not used to this program. Let's try this one more time. Same 3 hours, 52 people, 2 engagements. So, I have a Facebook representative who's not worth crap. A real live person. Little Oriental girl. And on December 4th, they deboosted my personal Facebook page, my public figure page, and the USA Headline News page. They deboosted all 3 pages. Now, if you guys want to do a little bit of homework on that, and you'll see what's being done to everybody pretty much around the world, just go and Google Facebook deboosting. DE boosting. You can read about it. I've written several articles about it. The whistle has been blown. The data is out there and the facts are out there. So there's not much I could do about it. When I talked to my little Oriental Facebook representative, I confronted her on this, and she told me the truth. And she said that there was absolutely nothing that she could do about it. Nothing. So, if you guys are into watching this complete circus melee of politics, subscribe to USA Headline News. Catch me on Facebook. But make sure you set your notifications up right for Facebook, because that's real tricky now also. So, oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. That Red Bull just made me burp right in the microphone. How obnoxious. Anyhow, anywho, anyway, folks. You're all going to be subjected to this. Whether it's researching things in space, researching the climate and the weather, or researching what's happening in politics, and not just in this country, around the world. It's pretty bad. It's real bad. Nothing I could do. However, you know me, I don't take things lightly. I contacted an attorney in Chicago, Larry Elder. His law firm is one of the first to successfully sue Facebook for their de-throttling, de-boosting, and censoring of business pages. And I just emailed them the other day. I realize it's the holidays, so I'm expecting to hear back probably within a week to 10 days. Hopefully I'll hear back from them. And I'm going to push some buttons over there at Facebook, because I feel what they're doing is just completely unrighteous. You know, I mean, it's like your cable TV. You know, if you pay for a channel and you subscribe to that channel, but your cable company feels that, oh, we don't want you to watch that, so we're not going to let you. We're going to censor that channel. So even though you pay for it and you subscribe to it, we don't want you to watch it. This is the same thing. And they're using it in politics. And they're using it to hide information that, you know, is valuable to a lot of people. Especially when it comes to our climate or our weather or what's happening in politics. And these people in politics are freaking crazy. They're nuts. You know, and unfortunately, I have to follow all of this because this is what I do for a living also. And I also have other people that count on me that are also part of USA Headline News. But it's disgusting what social media has become. Yeah. It's a damn shame. But I just wanted to point that out to you because if you guys happen to see political articles appearing on Planet X News on the Facebook pages, there's a reason. And I'm running that experiment basically as evidence. And I'm recording that evidence, and I'm going to use that for my case against Facebook. Hey, you never know. Maybe I'll win $1 billion from them. Yeah, $1 billion. I doubt it, but we'll see. They'll probably eventually ban me from Facebook. You know, they make it seem like they want you to be so successful, but in the background, they are censoring the living hell out of you. Let's check a few things out here real quick. Now, I get a lot of morons on in this Planet X News group. Not calling everybody morons, but there's a few. Let's stroll through here and let's take a look at what some of the people are posting. And the reason why I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention is there's a lot of false things that people post online. That goes right back to the blue planet next to the moon. Now, there are some people involved in the Planet X News group page that do post really good informative stuff. And one of the rules are you can't post any fake Nibiru videos. You should be subscribed to the Planet X News YouTube channel. So if you're a newcomer, you can go to my channel and you could look through the videos, and in about 2 hours, well, maybe more than that because I'm pretty long-winded, but you could go through some videos and you could learn a lot. Now, see, I posted this yesterday showing how Facebook is censoring the hell out of me. But you have a lot of people that are posting some really good videos, things that they're seeing around the world. I believe this is, let's see if there's a translation here. Egypt, the shores. I guess that's a big storm coming in. That might be the remnants of that storm that blew across Europe a few days ago. I made a little GIF image here yesterday. I was testing out some of this new software. This new high definition movie making software that I purchased. Ooh, damn, was it expensive. I'm still learning how to use it. Probably take me about another couple days. But I think it's going to be helpful to bring higher definition video imagery to what we capture. So I'm looking forward to that. Once again, what's this guy's name? Felipe Reimensberger. Here's a good article from Severe Weather Europe. This is talking about this massive polar drop in temperature up here in Alaska. Yes, I know Alaska gets really, really cold, but this dark purple, man, that is going to be dangerous. Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff that people do post in here. We do talk about some UFO stuff, and there's just been some more UFO disclosure coming out. I did a short Fox video on it 2 days ago. There was some information that came out about Chinese, Russian, and pilots from the UK that all lost their lives while trying to shoot down these objects. All of that information has been withheld for quite some time, but just like everything else, you know, there's a whistleblower. They came out and they admitted it, that Russian pilots were killed, pilots from the UK Air Force and China. And they had detected these objects, and they tried to track them down. They tried to engage them, and they didn't specify how the pilots were killed, but let's face it, they probably blew them out of the sky or caused their planes to crash with some type of electrical or electronic failure. Now, oh boy, this post right here caused all kinds of crap. And this was the image of the moon, and that little teeny tiny little dot way in the background there is Venus in the daytime. Last year, that bozo over at WSO, Steve Olson, took it upon himself to show this photograph that an astrophotographer took, and he claimed that once again it was a giant, massive planet seen in the daytime sky. Made such a big deal about it. I looked at it and I immediately found out who took the photographs. And again, it happened to be a guy. Let's click on it. It happened to be a guy who is an astrophotographer. Well, what that is, folks, is the big object is the moon in the daytime sky. And the little dot way back there is Venus that is periodically, you're able to see it from time to time in the daytime sky. I did some quick homework on this, and the guy's name is Ivan Etter, right here. And if you Google Ivan Etter, you come up with his photographs and his story. And this was just a fake article, and they blew the picture up and they made it look like there was a big planet in the sky, when in fact Ivan right there, and you could see his massive telescope hooked up with all kinds of electronics and cameras to take these photographs. And all that was an ultra zoomed in photograph of the moon. But you got people like Steve Olson and many, many other people out there that are complete 100% fakes. And they, they kind of prey on you guys, and they feed you lines of shit. So here you go. Here we just Googled Ivan Etter or Ivan Eater. Here it is right there. Venus and the moon. Well, let's click on that. Well, this is his website, astroetter.com. Any one of you can go to it. He's got some really, really amazing photographs that he uses that massive freaking telescope that's hooked up with all kinds of electronics, cameras, laptops, software, you name it. And he takes incredible photographs. Well, this was his photograph. And that's the moon. And that's little tiny Venus shadowed in the background. He tells you all about how the picture was taken. All of the information is right there. He took the photograph from Budapest. Let's jump back for a second. And now that we have Ivan Etter, let's just click on images. And there's Ivan right there. And here's his photographs. See his photograph? Looky what we got there. Oh, holy hell. It is the moon. And it is little teeny tiny Venus way in the background in the daytime sky, zoomed in. And guess what? When Olson did this video last year and made such a big stink about it, little did he know that Ivan took this photograph all the way back in 2010. Look at the copyright mark right there. Ivan Etter, copyright 2010. Yeah, so for all of you that praise WSO as a source of truth, you may want to rethink that. Because it's nothing more than crap and lies and looking for YouTube views. Hey, look, folks, if I was looking for YouTube views, I could sit here all day long and I could make 10 videos a day and I could fool each and every one of you and I could twist the truth. But no, that's not me. I even pointed this out for the people in the comment thread. Some got mad. Some people called me a liar, even though I pointed them to the correct information. That's pretty stupid. This guy got mad and pissed off because these photographs right here, taken from the webcams from Mexico, produce very, very strange camera anomalies because they are housed in plexiglass domes, and when they're pointed directly at the sun, well, they get weird shapes. And, he wanted me to think that that was a big space rock, a big planet. But yet, there's people walking along the beach. Don't you think they would have saw that? Don't you think this would have made the headlines around the world? And it's not even round. It's just a bad lens flare from the camera. That's all that it is. The little black dot that you see is nothing more than the aperture opening in the camera. That's all that it is, folks. That's all that it is. But there are some people out there that are not interested in the truth. They are interested in nothing more than notoriety and to be some kind of freaking YouTube star. That's not going to happen with divulging this type of information. YouTube won't allow it, Facebook won't allow it, Google won't allow it, and the government sure as hell won't allow it. Getting back to some somber news, the death toll at the volcanic eruption in New Zealand. One more person lost their life. It was an American woman. She passed away from the burns that she sustained from her injuries. Her husband, they were newlyweds. He is still in the hospital with very, very severe burns, but she did not make it. So that brings the death toll up in that terrible, terrible tragedy. I'm still keeping an eye on this volcano. We'll see what happens. This was a very interesting article. You guys might want to read this. I just posted this about 5 hours ago. I was doing some work on this, and this is a 49-page memo and document. This was just released not too long ago, and it shows how George Soros and his big money is literally manipulating all of the social media companies and a lot of news networks around the world, not just here in the United States. Most of this all has to do with the upcoming 2020 election. This is the key point, what I was talking about earlier, how they're censoring my USA Headline News Facebook page and website. Why? Because we get at the truth. We don't produce fake news. We produce the actual truth. We even have a YouTube channel where, short videos are aired just about every single day. But this article really pissed me off. I hate to say it, man, but I wish that guy would kick the bucket. But it's not going to help anything because his little putrid son, Alexander Soros, man, he's already picked up the ball and he's running wild with it. Same thing here. This guy actually calls me out by name here, and I don't know what the hell he was trying to show me in these photographs, but they're nothing more than artificial lens flares. But, you could go down through here, and there's some good stuff in the Planet X News group. I can't really control what people post, but if I find it to be completely idiotic and stupid, it gets deleted. And if you post crap twice after being warned, see ya. And we all have heard about what's happening down in Australia. Very, very sad situation in Australia. Back in the summer, I mentioned quite a bit about what was potentially going to happen to Australia. And again, you get these people that just, I don't know, man, they just want to call you a liar about everything you say. If I tell you that my name is Scott, and look, I show you my driver's license and my birth certificate, And, you know, I show you all my identification, and you still tell me I'm a liar. Oh, your name's not Scott, you're a liar. So I'm kind of used to that, and it really doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is when people aren't able to get the information, and they're not able to see the information when it is available months in advance. And I said, folks, everybody down in the southern hemisphere, Australia specifically, it is going to be one of the worst and most tragic times in the country's history. The heat waves, again, are going to break records like they did last year. And the threat of massive bushfires and brush fires are going to overwhelm the region. I had people inboxing me filthy, nasty messages. You're nothing but an effing fearmonger. Oh, it's hot in Australia all the time. Oh, they have bushfires there all the time. Okay. I warned everybody about that 3 months in advance. Now what do you have to say? Yeah, that's what I thought. And folks, whenever I do research something and I do throw myself into it 110%, if I'm not positive about something, I won't talk about it. I won't make a video about it. I won't write an article about it unless I'm 100% true. It's a true story. It's true information, and I'm 100% positive. Now, I posted this article about this very, very large asteroid that they've known about for quite some time, and it was going to be passing by the Earth, I think like the day after Christmas. They've known about it for quite some time. It's over 2,000 feet wide. It's huge. Then you read the comments. Read this guy here. He calls himself Truth Seeker, but he said it's absolute rubbish. Okay. Maybe in your small little world, it's absolute rubbish. But this big asteroid, I've been tracking it along with the JPL on their website since last October. The issue is that it is very easy, even though this object is going to be passing by, they say, at approximately 4 million miles away. We can take a look at it. And this is on our Headline News website. And there's a picture from one of the plates. It's a pretty damn big object. Let me just move down here. And I recorded its path. And you could see the Earth here. And you could see 2000 CH59, the big asteroid, right there. Here's the intersection point right there. All of this information is put forth by the JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Near Earth Objects Division. And let's take a look at it. Here's the intersection point right here. Okay, that is a little scary. But whenever you're looking at these models, it doesn't really give you the actual perception of it. And that object is supposed to be passing by, I think, about 4 million miles, moving at very, very fast speeds. But who's to say that something doesn't perturb that space rock's trajectory, and that 4 million miles closes down to an impact? NASA's been wrong before. They miss these meteors and these asteroids all the time. Just going back to the Chelyabinsk asteroid that exploded over Russia, damaged like 1,000 buildings and injured 1,500 people. Yeah. And they missed that one. They just flat out missed it. So things that occur in space, no pun intended, but they're not written in stone. There's a lot of variables. A lot of variables that can occur with these damn near-Earth objects. And since 2016, we've seen the number of these near-Earth objects going through the roof. More and more and more of them are being perturbed out of their orbits in the asteroid belt. And where are they all coming? They all seem to be coming inward. So by the laws of probability, when that takes over, sooner or later, the Earth is going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, the United States, and I believe Russia and China, all have defense mechanisms, things in place that they say that they could possibly divert the asteroid, blow it up, which is a really bad idea. But they say that they have some ways of diverting the asteroid away, but they need a long period of time to do that. So they have to actually find the asteroid years in advance, possibly, in order to just give it a couple of nudges and get it off of its trajectory towards the Earth. We'll see what happens. In a couple of days, it will be whizzing by. But yeah, there was a few things on here that I wanted to show you, and the main one was that astrophotographers' photographs of the moon and Venus, and also the fake blue planet in the skies over Australia, and everybody saw it with the naked eye. Here was an article that I did just yesterday, and this was on that massive storm that blew through parts of Europe, killing 8 people as of yesterday. It was just absolutely terrible. Oh, you know what? We just moved our website to a new server. That article's not on here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we just moved the website to a new server, so I have to update that. But unfortunately, I'll repost that article if anybody wants to check it out, and I'll repost it on the Planet X News Facebook page and group. And then yesterday I live streamed the Boeing CST-100 Starliner spacecraft that NASA couldn't even get that small spacecraft up into its proper orbit to meet the space station. That was a total failure. And I live streamed its landing. And I personally think NASA's a complete freaking joke. And, a lot of times when I do show their stuff, it's because it is so bad. This is a pretty cool picture. Some very, very strange cloud formations. We're seeing them. I mean, the cloud formations now around the world are just completely crazy, insane. I've never seen anything like these cloud formations in these skies. It's like we're living on an alien planet or something. This was a decent article here coming out of Channel 7 News in Australia. And once again, just like last year, the roads are melting, unprecedented heat, breaking records left and right. But there is some good info that people do post on here. Here is the the blue planet right there. Hey, let's read some of these comments. Was this the lady that was bugging the crap out of me? Nah. Yeah, you can see she's saying here, look, blue planet appears near the moon in Australia, seen with the naked eye. 72,000 views. Here's me. I commented, that is nothing more than a camera anomaly. Yeah. This was the video that I did. This was on Fox News. This was a reporter by the name of Tom Rogan. And this was the guy who uncovered the Chinese, Russian, and UK pilots that were killed engaging UFOs, in their jet fighters. Pretty interesting. I'd definitely check it out. It was very, very interesting. More about the weather. The heat wave, you could see down here, Australia. I mean, it's a dark burgundy, and that's coming from the null school models, and that color is super high temperatures. So there's a lot of decent information that people post on here. Some of it's nonsense. It gets deleted. Some of the moderators here on this page, if they see that you're posting nonsense and fake stuff, they'll delete it immediately. I don't think there's anything that's more interesting. Where was this? Oh, this doesn't want to agree with me right now. I want to get to that big crack. This is another thing that Facebook has been doing to me. They have a way now that they mess around with the scrolling capability on your Facebook pages. I forget what they call it. They have a name for it now. They try to deter you. So if you're trying to scroll and you're using a personal PC or laptop and you're trying to scroll through the news feed, it won't move. You can scroll and scroll and scroll, it won't move. And it gets real jittery. And you start getting frustrated. And then you say, the hell with it. So I was actually looking that up, and that is another little technique that they're using. And I forgot to mention that because that's exactly what they're doing now. There's no way to avert it. There's no way to get around it. Once they set these algorithms onto your Facebook pages, you're pretty much done. No way to get rid of them. No way to get around it. I wanted to get down to that big crack that was in the ground. Where the hell did it go? Oh, I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, folks, I wanted to, holy hell. Oh, shit. Ooh, that's in Peru. Look at that. Oh, my God. Yeah, folks, I mean, this is happening all around the world. Mainstream media just doesn't cover it. Wow, that's bad. Those were some of the scenes. They were just like that happening throughout Italy, Spain, and France over those couple of days when that massive storm blew through there. Wow. Yeah, see, they're starting to freeze my page right while we're doing this. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. And I've got a very, very strong computer, 32 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, this baby's a supercomputer. And they just started doing this to me on December 4th. No way for me to get around it. It is what it is. But anyways, folks, we'll be keeping an eye out these next couple of days going into the end of the month. And we'll see what transpires. I think we're definitely going to see a pretty good CME pretty close to the end of the month, 29th, 30th, 31st. And we're going to see an uptick in the earthquake activity naturally. And hopefully we get another good capture as this object passes down across the ecliptic. But it will be coming right back up in about 10 to 12 days after that. So, once again, sometime, between the beginning of the month, first 10 to 12 days of the month, we'll see some of that increased activity. We'll see how it goes. But just for you people to understand, there's a lot of con artists out there now. They're all over social media, everywhere. They all want to tell you this, that, and the other about Nibiru and Nemesis and Planet X. But here's one thing that you just have to ask yourself. Are they showing you legitimate and real information? Is it even worth your time to listen to? Are you learning anything from them? If not, scratch them off your list. And stay tuned to Planet X News. Because I will always, always deliver the best observational evidence that they allow me to show you. Period. And there's going to be a lot more of it in the times to come. Trust me. We haven't seen anything yet, folks. We haven't seen anything yet. This is pretty much just the beginning. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, folks, I'd like to wish all of you a very, very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Be safe in your travels. There is some shady weather out there in parts of the country. Other parts of the country are having some moderate weather, like I am. But that will be short-lived. And then we'll be right back to freezing our asses off again for the winter. But that's natural. So be safe out there. Enjoy the holiday. Enjoy your families. And stay tuned to Planet X News. Take care, folks. Be safe. Share the video.